Sing to us. Okay, we're gonna start in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, I thought you were gonna start.
Wait, who's gonna start? You or me?
I could start, but
Okay.
I'll start it. Okay.
Okay.
I'll start it. Okay, we're gonna start.
Start it. Use your idea.
2, 1. All right, we're here with my pal Stephan, Parra, and me, Nick.
What's up, guys?
We're here to talk to you about Star Wars: The Force Awakens on our new podcast that we started. You want to say anything, Stephan?
Absolutely. In this podcast, we're gonna be reviewing movies, and I'm gonna basically fight with Nick about the worst movies ever that he thinks they're good movies.
This podcast, we're like gonna do a thing where we could talk about movies that we also like, but this one we're gonna do a segment where we talk about a movie that we disagree upon. And
yeah, I mean, eventually when the movie theaters actually open up again and we can actually go watch movies live, we're gonna do movies that start coming out and discuss about them and our expectations and if the movie met those expectations, etc.
We should do Wonder Woman actually next week because you can watch it on HBO Max.
Hey, that's a good idea, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gal Gadot is beautiful. I would always be down to watch a movie and discuss about it.
I like the first Wonder Woman, so
it was really good.
But
from the Disney movies,
the previews don't look very good for the new one. But
I know, like, okay, there's just things that are off from like a superhero movie, like her fighting in a mall is like, I don't know.
Yeah, and there's there's a giant cat woman, like whatever, like she's a cat with fur all over her body, and that looks kind of weird on the previews. But you know what?
It doesn't look as epic as you would expect.
Yeah, but I think that's like a reoccurring bad woman on Wonder Woman comics. So yeah,
never heard of her, but I'm excited.
I've never read Wonder Woman comics. So like, have you?
I don't even read comics, to be honest. I wish I did more.
Yeah,
I'm a big Spider-Man fan, and I mean, I buy them and then I don't read them. I'm a bad reader, but we should definitely finish this saga before that movie comes out because I think it'd be a great idea if we actually discuss about that movie.
That movie already came out.
Wait, Wonder Woman?
Yeah. Split the bill with me, and then we could watch it.
Definitely, absolutely. I didn't know it already came out. Huh.
Yeah, it already came out. Like, I think a lot. What is it?
I've just been isolated for so long. I don't know.
I don't know. It's kind of getting weird.
But anyway, so we're here to discuss. What movie are we here to discuss, Nick? Tell us.
The Star Wars Force Awakens.
The Force Awakens. One of the movies that I have.
By J.J. Abrams, starring Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, Adam Driver. Yeah, those are like the main ones.
Good. I mean, you have a good cast.
Good cast.
J.J. Abrams does a good work. Yeah, I'm gonna have a slight accent here, but it's okay. We can work with it.
Where are you from?
I'm from Mexico City. Where are you from, Nick?
That's a difficult question, but I'm gonna say California.
Temecula, California, if we're exact. Actually, I can tell your address to the people. What was? Let me see. No. No, but
I don't live there anymore.
I don't even live there anymore. Yeah, you're right. I had really high expectations
to somebody else's house.
Some random guy right there. He's gonna be like, "What's
the address?" Yeah.
No, but
we're here to talk about this Star Wars: The Force Awakens.
Yeah. So I really had really high expectations for this movie.
I had high expectations, and I gotta say my expectations were met.
I know you would say that. I mean, like you said, I think Disney definitely kept it very conservative in this movie. They try to basically just please the crowd.
I mean, when Disney bought Star Wars, I feel like most Star Wars fans are like, "Oh, great, there goes the franchise." So Disney had to be very conservative, so people trusted them with the franchise. And I think what they meant to do was that, and they succeeded at it. And I enjoyed the movie.
Well, that is to your point of view. I expected something a little bit braver, let's just say. I expected something that, like expanded the Star Wars universe in a way that we haven't seen before.
But they
I think,
they knew that people, like the people that loved the original trilogy, that everyone I think loves the original trilogy, but the people
yeah.
saw it back when it was coming out in theaters, I think they really didn't like the prequels. And that's why Disney went back to the originals, like how they were made. So, yeah.
Sort of. And I don't think they succeeded in all of them. I mean, in this movie that we're going to discuss, I think they probably did succeed at that. However, I think the saga should have. I mean, first of all, we're in a different time at all, completely from the originals, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think the movie should have evolved, like the saga should have evolved to a new thing, to something different. Like Marvel keeps evolving, right? I think that keeps it interesting. And the fact that this movie basically goes back to their roots, but literally copies one of the most iconic Star Wars movies is literally, to me, like a little bit disappointing.
I mean, I get that, but it wasn't. I mean, it's pretty much a carbon copy, but
like you said, like they kept it conservative, and even me, I was pleased with the movie. I wasn't, because I knew there was something more coming after that. You know what I mean? I think it was just introduction, basically, to the new trilogy.
Well, my opinion is that they started off really strong, and then with every movie, it got progressively worse. And got worse and worse.
Yeah, I mean, continue.
Like the things that they set up weren't, like, they didn't follow through with it, so that's why some of the stuff in the movie might not be as good as it could have been. And most of that was because they switched directors for the 8th movie, and then they switched back to the first director in the 9th movie. So
yeah,
but
we're definitely going to talk more about that later on, because we're actually going to complete the saga and discuss more about it. I just see this movie as an introduction to a new era of Star Wars, a new age.
Yes.
And however, I think having a full movie to just introduce a new age is kind of overdoing it. Having a couple scenes about it, that would have been good, but the whole movie with literally a plot that we've seen before. But anyway, do you want to go in order about this, or do you want to go about the characters first?
Let's kind of walk through the movie, and then we could
discuss the movie.
Talk about our the 5 things that we want to talk
categories.
About. 5 categories, right?
Yeah.
So let's say what our 5 categories are. So our 5 categories on how we're rating a movie are the movie score, acting, the characters, cinematography, and the plot. And those are our 5 categories that we got.
Absolutely.
And we each rated them separately. So I rated each one, and then we averaged the score out of 10. So, and that's how we came up with how we
to get a full
what we
rate the movie.
Yeah, what we rate the movie. So, okay. So the beginning of the movie. So we start off classic Star Wars crawl, and then after the crawl, we get there's like a moon and a Star Destroyer, like kind of covers it up into a black screen.
Do you remember how excited people were when the Star Wars crawl happened?
I know. It was so hype.
It was so hype. It was like, that actually was one of the parts where I felt that Disney was doing good, because it made you feel back at home with Star Wars.
What's Star Wars crawl? Like, how could you mess that up?
Yeah. No, absolutely though.
Then,
I mean, basically, there's been movies where I expected to see it. Like, what is the movie called?
Oh, Rogue One?
Rogue One, yeah.
Yeah,
and I mean,
that was separate. That was like a Star Wars story. It was supposed to be different.
Yeah,
They didn't want to.
that
They didn't want to connect it with the Star Wars trilogy that they were doing.
even though it totally fits the storyline, and it's actually better than the last two anyway. But
Definitely.
we could actually discuss that one later on.
Yeah, that's a good one.
We should add it to the list. Yeah.
Add it to the list.
Then what's the scene that comes next?
So then we get that shot of the stormtroopers heading down to the planet, and I don't know in exact order, but we go over to Poe, who's on the planet talking to this old guy who has a map to Luke Skywalker, and BB-8 comes in through the door, and he's does his little beeps and tells Poe that the First Order is on its way, and so Poe and BB-8 decide to leave. And
What were your thoughts at this part of? I mean, at this part of the movie, me watching BB-8 was like a feeling of. I actually really like that character.
yeah, I like BB-8. I think he's like R2D2 and him. I think are totally different, even though they try to say
Yeah, totally.
that BB-8's supposed to replace R2D2, but I don't think so. I think that BB-8's more like a chipper, like younger brother of R2D2. That's how I kind of see it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's
R2D2 is kind of like a sassy old guy.
Yeah,
Like anything.
that's a good. Actually,
But
I hadn't seen that from that viewpoint, but I completely agree. I think they're different characters.
Yeah.
And I definitely think that BB-8 is like the newer generation of the bots that portray R2D2. But I really like what they did with BB-8. I think it was a good evolution for R2D2. And
Yeah.
look at that design.
I
It's
love
very,
the design. Like apparently,
yeah.
when they were making BB-8, J.J. Abrams, the director, he drew it, and he was like, "Make this happen." And they were like, "Oh, the prop department didn't know how to do that successfully, but they ended up doing it. It came out really nice."
Yeah.
I
No,
enjoyed
it looks really nice.
I think it was one of the best parts of the movie.
And like the design looks very aerodynamic, which actually kind of shows how it actually evolved to be something more R2 evolved, or not like the bots evolved to be something more efficient.
Yeah,
You know
because
what I mean?
R2D2 is very clunky, and like it's very hard to believe that he could like navigate a bunch of surfaces.
Yeah, but BB-8 could navigate like with that design through like the sand lands and everything, like nothing. So I really like the design. Just wanted to point that out.
The one thing I did like notice from the credit, like not the screen crawl, was the whole idea of the First Order. That's the one thing that like bothered me about the movie, is that it like exists without the New Republic putting it in check. Cause like it kind of just like, oh, the First Order has all this technology. It has the money to fund a giant planet destroying
Yeah.
And it's like, how did they get that money? And it's even bigger than the Death Star. And like how were they able to do that?
They skipped steps, huh?
Yeah. Who funded them, and why isn't the New Republic like doing anything about them? Because they say in the movie that the New Republic supports the Resistance, but I don't think like they're the same entity. Like I feel like it should be more of like how the Cold War was fought, where even though like with the US versus Russia was like just as big as like had just as a big amount of like arsenal as the US did, but so I feel like since the First Order rose out of the ashes of the Empire, that it shouldn't be as big and powerful as it is, and instead they should have done where the First Order was rising, and I don't know. I feel like that was kind of like, where did they just come from out of nowhere? I don't know.
They just wanted to. It almost seemed like an anime kind of style where they wanted to just give a stronger, bigger enemy.
Yeah.
And then literally just like skip the introduction or or the
They should have
explanation
just
part
like
about it.
shown us like who funded it, because it was just like, oh, they just have
Yeah,
a Star Killer base.
it just happened.
Weird, but I kind
And
of went with it. So
yeah,
if you just go
you
with
couldn't go
it,
with it
good
at the
movie.
beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't go with it at the beginning. I thought a lot of my questions were gonna be answered later on, whether in the movie, in this movie, or in the next one's coming up, which never happened. But anyway,
In fact, it got worse.
more questions would arise later on, which made it very annoying for me. However, it just seems like these movies have like literally just a bad guy to be a bad guy. Like it doesn't really have a sense of what like they're fighting for. You know what I mean? Like the
Why is the First Order
yeah.
fighting to be in charge of the universe?
What is their motivation behind all their actions?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like, well, basically in all the Star Wars movies before, it was kind of the same, but the prequels did a good job at explaining those things, which I know you don't like, and we probably should talk about them later on as well. I thought you. I mean, you definitely
movie I don't like that much.
I mean, I can see that because a lot of people were.
I like the first one, and a lot of people don't like the first one. And then I like.
Yeah.
And then the third one. The third one's like
one of my a lot.
Star Wars. But the second one I don't really like.
Yeah.
But
from the first one, I like the explanation about. You can see more of like motives from why the bad guys are doing what they're doing, like the taxation for reforms and all those things.
Mm-hmm.
But what I think they should have kept on going that they didn't really is the Mandalorians. Not the Mandalorians, the midichlorians.
Midichlorians. A lot of people didn't like.
Midichlorians.
A lot of people didn't like that, and so that's why they went away from it.
Mm.
They talk about midichlorians in the Mandalorian, actually, so you should watch that.
I haven't seen the second season, so don't even spoil it for me.
I'm not gonna.
But anyway, continue with this movie.
We should probably like say that this video has spoilers because we didn't say that yet.
Yeah. By the way, don't watch this if you haven't seen the movie. I mean, at this point, it's not spoilers anymore. If you haven't seen Star Wars: The Force Awakens by now, I'm disappointed with you. Like, you deserve to be spoiled.
Why are you watching this video if you didn't want to be spoiled? Let's be honest. Anyway, so
I mean, put that in the title though. Make sure people.
Spoiler alert. Yeah.
Realize what they're getting into. Even though it's like, how many years has it been? 3? 4 years?
I don't know. It came in like what, 2015?
Damn, has it been 5, 6 years almost? No way.
It's been 5 years. Working on 6.
Did it really come out when I started college?
Yeah.
What? It was our freshman year when it came out?
It was your freshman year. It was my sophomore year.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I forget you're old. Actually, you're the same age as me, but...
Yeah, literally. Stupid.
Yeah.
Anyway. So we got Gay and Poe run away.
Okay, well, we have a long movie to cover.
Yeah, we do.
There we go.
Let's just zip along here. So Poe and BB-8 they run away, or at least try to get in their X-wing, about to take off. First Order lands. Finn is with the First Order at this time, and they come busting out, lasers blasting the village that they were at, firing back. They're not doing much damage though. And are they stormtroopers? Is that what they're called in the movie? They hit the X-wing that Poe's trying to get out, and that strands Poe onto the Jakku where they're at. And so Poe decides to make his final stand against the First Order and sends BB-8, who has the map now, into the desert, into the night, gone. And so Poe gets captured, and he has a little confrontation with Kylo Ren, and Kylo Ren decides that he's just going to take Poe onto his ship, and then they head out. And then when they're heading out, Kylo Ren tells his Captain Phasma, who I think who seemed menacing at the time, and I was like super excited about her character. But yeah, we'll discuss her character development in other movies later on. But he tells her to kill the villagers, and that was a pretty like, it showed that Kylo Ren was kind of, I don't know, at least trying to be evil. I don't know if he's evil, but he throughout the movie he's talking about how he has like a pull back to the light.
My point exactly.
What's your point exactly?
This bad guy doesn't deserve. I mean, don't get me wrong. I totally think that Adam Driver is a great actor, and I've seen him act.
Is that what you were telling me earlier?
Huh?
You weren't telling me that he was a good actor earlier.
No, he's a good actor. What is that Netflix movie that he's in with
I didn't see that.
Scarlett Johansson, but he did A Marriage Story, and he did great. Like, he's a great actor, but in this specific saga of movies, and I don't think it's even his fault, but like the role that they give him to portray is very weak, and it doesn't seem deserving to be like the next Darth Vader or the next
I don't think that's
Anakin
what they were going
Skywalker.
for though. I think they were going for he wants to be like Darth Vader, but he's not quite there. I think that's
True.
For.
I just don't really like his character development a lot.
Yeah.
But in this scene that we're discussing right now, I didn't get that vibe.
Development is like
I didn't get that vibe yet.
Like
I was very
development is like literally like the opposite of how most people fall to the dark side. Like most people fall to the dark side because they feel like Anakin was pulled into the dark side because he had a pulling into the dark side. Like he was literally pulled in because of his love for Padme. But like Kylo, his fall to the dark side was he's being pulled back by his love into the, like, because his parents are good, so he's getting pulled back for his love for them. But he's saying, no, I don't want to do that. And then at the end of the movie, when he takes out Han Solo, that's basically him committing to the dark side.
Yeah, but it seems really I don't know, it seems really, I guess disappointing is the word, to know that the guy behind all of this chaos is a guy who is as confused as a kid about the. I mean, Snoke was supposed to be the guy who would. Yeah. Okay, I would have accepted more Kylo Ren if there was actually a big threat behind everything.
Yeah.
And a big threat that wasn't a freaking zombie that got reawakened in like the last movie, but an actual Sith that actually craved.
I was looking for Snoke like showing what he could do, and that was kind of ruined. I was disappointed, but that's for another topic. We're talking about Force Awakens here.
I do agree, although Kylo Ren seems to have control over the whole operations of this what's it called, the First Order.
Yeah.
Of the First Order, when he's really not even powerful or sure about what he wants. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's like, personally, I think that's more interesting for me to see, like a character like discovering what they want. I mean, obviously.
I wouldn't mind that if he wasn't the actual boss of everyone. Does that make sense?
They messed up with that in the next movie, but that's different. Right now, he's not the boss, so okay. I think that's for a different discussion. Because I don't know, it all changes in the next movie, and I don't like what they did in the next movie. There's parts that I do like about.
Don't spoil your opinions yet. Save some sauce for later.
Some sauce. We haven't even gotten to any big opinions right now. So we'll get back into the story. So Finn, he was there when they killed the villagers. He decided not to kill them. Kylo Ren took notice, and so Finn heads back with them, and he's kind of like freaking out. He doesn't like what's going on. He doesn't like what his life is, and so he decides to make the decision to leave the First Order. And his ticket out of there was the person that they just captured, one of the best pilots in the Resistance, Poe. So after Kylo Ren interrogates him, I think they get information that the map to Luke Skywalker is in a BB unit, BB-8. So they know the First Order is looking for BB-8, and so Finn and Poe decide to get out of there. And as they're flying out, they get shot down and crash land into Jakku. And so, any thoughts, any feelings?
I think we are introduced to what is supposed to be a big character, which is Finn in this part, and I had really high hopes for him, given that at this part I had really high hopes for him because given that he was like the first stormtrooper that you see rebel the commands of the First Order or any like structure that they had from the bad guys, and so it's the first time you see a stormtrooper rebel. So you actually notice that a stormtrooper is actually a person. It actually has a past. It had I think everything was kind of erased, right? Like their memories were erased.
They were just taken away from their family at a really young age, so they don't really remember any of that.
But
they were just raised by the army.
Yeah, but beforehand, like in the other movies, you never really got the feeling that they were like people, you know? Like, I mean, in the prequels, they were clones. I felt like now you get to see like, let's say the scenes where like you actually see the feelings, maybe not all of them, but most of them, and they have a backstory and they have like motivations, right?
Yeah.
Or at least for some reason this stormtrooper did, and I thought that was really cool because it was like a breakthrough that hadn't happened before. So I really liked that. I really liked that at that point in time.
Finn's one of my favorites. FN 2187.
It could have been one of my favorites, but
in this movie, he's one of my favorites. But like they kind of, as I feel like in all the other movies, they kind of mess up everybody's character. So, but we'll get into that later. But
in this movie, he's
above
average
character arc.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and then after they crash land, we don't really see what happened, and we get introduced to another new character, Rey.
Always beautiful.
Rey, the always beautiful. Rey is Bae.
Rey's Bae. I fuck with that.
No, played by Daisy Ridley. So when we see her first, she has a mask on and she's scavenging for parts in an old Star Destroyer. And she takes her parts back to her little settlement village thing. It's not really much where she's living. And she gets her rations from her parts and she goes on and eats. When she eats, she has like this really like cool bread. Do you remember that, Stephan? Like the bread that
really cool. What?
She puts a little powder into some water and like a puff of bread comes up. That was like that's like one of my favorite parts, and I remember that part.
I will definitely pay more attention to that. I not always pay attention to details like that, but I know you do, so it's a good thing that you say that because I'm gonna pay attention to that part next time.
That bread looks so good. Let me tell you.
It's like in Lord of the Rings, the bread that the hobbits eat.
The lemless bread.
Yeah, that they could like get full with like just one. Yeah.
Bread. So yeah, Rey's living by herself. She's marking up the wall like with dashes to keep track of how many days she's been waiting, what she's waiting for. I think it's been revealed that she's waiting for her family.
Yeah, because she's always looking up. Like, it seems like I think at some point we get revealed that she was left, and then they left in a spaceship. So
Yeah, there was like a flashback that I think reveals that.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
she's waiting for her family, and it seems like she's been waiting a long time, and she's become very self-reliant, and I don't know. She seems kind of stuck too. I don't know if I don't think she really likes being stuck, but she wants to wait for her family. And then
yeah.
while she's eating her dinner, she hears this sound, and she goes running towards it, and it's BB-8 being captured. I think his name is Tito, by Tito. I'm just gonna say Tito. And so she goes helps BB-8, and she says BB-8 can stay with her for a little while. And then let me see.
Which I mean, I was like a little while. I mean, it's literally a
I think it's like
robot. Like
it's like a day.
it wouldn't be annoying to you,
Well, it's annoying
but
to her because she's been like alone for so long, like basically her whole life. So anyone staying with her is inconvenience because she's kind of
yeah.
lonely. And
Ever
then
since ever since her first appearance, I felt like she belonged to Star Wars.
yeah, I thought
I have like only great thoughts about her. Ray from Daisy Ridley.
actually I really like her theme. Ray's theme is I think one of the best scores that newer scores in this movie that were introduced. Um, so yeah, have you heard that, Stefan?
I have not. Maybe you have the chance to play it.
I would play it except for copyrights and stuff.
Oh, you're right.
So
I
check it
forget
out.
about those.
It's a
I
good.
forget about those. I never follow the rules, so
It's a
no,
good
I do.
little.
I do, guys. I do follow the rules.
Anyway, so then we go back to Finn, who wakes up in the desert. I got a picture for this. Wait for it. Wait for it. Boom! He wakes up in the desert, and
Literally like that. That's literally his face.
that's
Right
literally
there.
how he wakes up, right there. I was waiting for this. I was waiting for this moment to put this picture on. Anyway, so he wakes up and he's all alone. Poe is gone, doesn't know where he is, and so Finn is walking through the desert, and I think he's taking off his stormtrooper outfit, which I think is
Yeah. Mhm.
symbolic because they kind of do a shot where
Symbolic.
he's leaving a piece behind as he walks through the desert, and you see like a trail of it, and I think that's kind of symbolic in a way where it shows that he slowly is leaving the First Order to join the Resistance, because it kind of takes him a little while to join the Resistance. That's how I took it, but yeah. So he finds the ship, and it kind of just sinks, and he thinks that Poe's dead, but he manages to get the jacket that Poe was wearing, and he walks and finds the village thing that Rey's living at, or at least sells her parts at. Goes down there and finds water. He's drinking some water, and that's when he sees Rey. And Rey, at that point, she was trying to sell parts earlier, and the guy who she's selling parts to wants to buy BB-8, and then BB-8, he offers to buy BB-8 because he wants BB-8, because I think he knows. Does he know that the First Order is looking for it? I don't know. Anyway, he wants BB-8, and she says,
Maybe there was like a reward for him, huh?
yeah, maybe. I can't remember exactly, but he tells his henchmen to go get the droid no matter what, and so his henchmen go and attack Rey, and so Finn's like, oh my gosh, I gotta help her out, which I think is kind of a little bit out of his character at this point in the film, because it's just a random person to him being attacked, and at this point he's just fleeing the First Order, and it seems like all he wants to do is run away. I don't know. It just seems like at this point he wasn't at that point in his character development to help a random stranger, but he does. But before he could get there, Rey kind of kicks their butt, showing that
Yeah.
she's capable of taking care of herself.
Yeah. I feel like Rey was basically on survival mode. Like, she's really not very aware of who even she is.
Mm-hmm.
She's just literally trying to survive every day to get to know someone who would tell her more about her story. But I feel like Rey even herself sensed that there was something powerful within her. Um, that's why she would wait so long instead of like doing something else with her life. But the meeting between Finn and Rey was very interesting. It was she kicked his butt, right?
Well, yeah, they BB-8 noticed the jacket that Finn was wearing, and he knew that it was Poe.
Oh yeah, you're right.
He went and like attacked him, and so yeah, then Finn kind of said that he was part of the Resistance, and there was actually a funny point in the movie where like Finn's like, "Yeah, I'm with the Resistance," and he was trying to be all cool about it, and then you could see Daisy Ridley trying to act through that, and she was about to like break into like laughter. You could like see it on her face, but I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they meet up with Finn, and they have some really good chemistry, and then some TIE fighters come in and start attacking the village to try to find BB-8. And so Finn and Rey start running away. Finn keeps grabbing her hand and stuff to like get her away from the confrontation, and she doesn't really like that. And then I feel like it was a little bit of a character development when she eventually grabs his hand in order to get away, because she's finally trusting somebody where she's been alone for so long.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so I like that. And then so they're running away, and they need a pilot to get out of the situation, and Rey says that she's a pilot. And at this point, I think people start like calling her like a Mary Sue. Do you know what that is, Stephan?
No.
It's like a female character that it basically could do anything. Like, so she has no like, flaws or any limitations. Yeah. So I personally like if you look at Luke Skywalker, he's basically like the same thing, where he lives on a desert planet. He knows how to pilot. He's really good at fighting for some reason, and I don't know. Kind of like the same thing, but they kind of set it up throughout the whole thing, because like Rey is shown like she could beat up some people with her like staff thing, and she scavenges through the Star Destroyers, so she has knowledge about technology. And then she flies her little speeder thing around Jakku. So, I mean, she could at least do that. So it's believable that she could pilot a ship as well.
Were you comparing her her skills to Luke? Because at this point, did you feel like there was some correlation, like maybe she was related to Luke? Or
at that point, I didn't know but that she wasn't related, but I mean, it's kind of like they're pretty much similar stories, like you said it yourself. That's basically like a remake of it. And
yeah,
so she's like this character that's from a desert planet that has special abilities and finds out that they're force sensitive. Blah blah blah. Yeah. But anyway, so they're running towards a ship, and Finn sees another ship, and he's like, "What about that one?" And she's like, "That ship's garbage." And then the ship that they were running to gets blown up, and then Rey's like, "Garbage will do," and it turns and it shows the Millennium Falcon. Classic.
Oh, yeah. That was a good part of the movie. Everyone clapped like crazy on that part.
Yeah, I really like that part, and especially how they because in the originals they kept calling the ship garbage. At least Leia did, and then for Rey to be like, "Oh, that ship's garbage." It was fun. Anyway, and so they get out, and they're flying away from Jakku. Rey wants to drop off Finn and head back to Jakku so she can continue waiting, but Finn's like, "Why does everyone want to go back to Jakku? It's kind of trash." But anyway, so they're heading away, and then a ship takes them and captures them, and we find out that the people that were piloting the ship were Han Solo and Chewie. And so yeah, they kind of make friends with them.
They came back for their ship.
Yeah, and there was the line, "Chewie, I'm home."
Yeah, yeah.
Classic.
It was a great scene. So far, the movie was like portraying a great movie. The way they reintroduced the characters um, was just amazing. And I mean, having a Star Wars movie with Harrison Ford is literally uh, a better Star Wars movie than without him, in my opinion. That's
Yeah.
one of the things that the prequels lacked: more story
Han Solo.
from Han Solo, or from like space cowboy,
Space.
kind of like theme people.
That's
Yeah.
basically what Poe is supposed to be in this trilogy, is like the Han Solo of the sequels.
Well, not necessarily, because Han Solo was supposed to be like a rebellious
Yeah,
kind of.
that's like the role he took in the friend group of the three, you know.
Yeah, even though like Han Solo really didn't ever follow the rules.
Yeah,
He was just trying to benefit himself. Except when actually he learns that there's things more important. And um, we see. I don't know how he felt to Kylo Ren, but we will talk more about that later.
yeah. And so next part is probably my least favorite part of the movie. It's what were they called? I have it in my notes. I don't know. It's a little beasts that they've the Hanso Rathtar. Yeah, the little Rathars. I didn't like that scene because I don't know. It kind of like seemed silly. I didn't like how the Rathars looked when they were
Yeah,
when they
I
were
love the.
they were like, oh, they're so dangerous, and then it's like this big blob with tentacles just rolling around the ship, and I was like, this is kind of weird.
I feel like a lot of not necessarily main characters, but like monsters within the world of Star Wars in these movies were pushed to awkwardness levels, trying to match like the originals.
Yeah,
Somehow it didn't work out the way it was supposed to. Like, there's many examples of creatures that I'm like, that creature's just awkward. I don't know. There's
yeah,
nothing else to say about it.
yeah.
Like when Luke was leaving his island, and then he was getting
Oh,
milk from this like
yeah.
big ass seals, and it's
That was
just like
fun.
what.
I like that part.
I mean, they did comedy with it, but the creature itself is just like, or like the servant creatures that like would clean the stuff. I don't know why they would even do that.
The which ones?
There were some like alien creatures that would just literally like look like maids, and they were even dressed like so.
Which movie was it?
It was in The Last Jedi, was it? Yeah, it was The Last Jedi.
I have to rewatch that movie.
Yeah, we'll
I'll
that's
take
actually the
your
next movie
word
we'll
for
talk
it.
about. So, but I agree with you in the sense that a lot of the monsters do look a little bit awkward or off,
Yeah,
and this monster is a good example of it. Yeah.
yeah. So I didn't really like this part of the movie, mainly because of that. But there were some good parts, like when Rey saved Finn when Finn was taken by the monster, and she like shut the door and it chopped its like tentacles. And then Finn's like, the door, I don't know what happened, it just closed. And Rey's like, that was lucky. She didn't even like take credit for what she did. But
Yeah.
that was cool, I thought. Anyway, and so they're escaping. They show like Chewbacca's crossbow like shooting some people, showing how like powerful it is, which is important later. But I just want to point it out now. And then
Yeah. Later in this movie, yeah.
yeah, later in this movie. And then they escape on they just escape going light speed out of the place, and they're heading towards another planet where Maz Kanata's living. And so they land on that planet. Han Solo offers Rey a job. Rey's excited about it. And then they go to Maz Kanata. And at that point, Finn's kind of still wanting to run away from the resistance and finally decides that it's time to go. So he kind of splits off from the group and gets work from some aliens elsewhere. And so he's leaving the place. Rey's kind of upset about that. And then, so Rey is just distraught, but she hears like this like crying child like down some stairs. So she decides to like follow the voice, and that's where she finds Luke's lightsaber. And that's she has
Yeah,
what?
that was an iconic moment, huh? Because she wasn't like just hearing a cry. She was like basically like sensing the force,
Yeah,
and through that she was you could even like argue that she was a Skywalker because she grabbed the whose lightsaber was that actually?
it was Luke's lightsaber, but it was Anakin's lightsaber before that.
Yeah, so there was a connection to that lightsaber, or it seemed like so, and therefore a lot of people would agree that she was a Skywalker,
Yeah.
like descendant.
But yeah, so she got the lightsaber. She has like a bunch of visions, and then in the vision she actually hears Obi-Wan Kenobi's like voice twice, the original Obi-Wan, like and then the prequel Obi-Wan, both. So she hears those voices in the flashback, and then she's kind of freaked out about it all. And then then Maz Kanata shows up, and then Maz Kanata keeps telling her, "Oh, you don't stop running away from your past and like basically embrace your destiny." And like she says one of my like favorite lines in the movie.
But I mean, Rey didn't even know what her destiny is,
Yeah,
or
Maz Kanata was kind of telling her that the lightsaber was calling to her for a reason. And earlier she was talking to Han Solo in the group that she's seen evil in many different forms. One, I forgot, but the Sith, the Empire, and now the First Order. And so she's basically encouraging them to fight again with the Resistance, because was excited when she saw Han Solo, and she was like, "Oh, you're right back in it, and right back in fighting and stuff." And she was excited about that. But she says one of my favorite
she
lines.
also likes Chewie.
Yeah, she was like, "Where's my boyfriend?" And on the ship. But yeah, she says one of my favorite lines, which is, "The belonging you seek is not behind you; it is ahead." That's one of my favorite lines. But yeah, she also says another one, which is, "If you live long enough, you see the same eyes in different people." That was pretty good too. But I like her character.
I feel like I do like her character, and at the same time, I mean, I really don't know how to feel about her. Like, it just, um,
I don't know. She was just
it,
an interesting
it,
side character.
I guess Star Wars is supposed to be somewhat cheesy. She seems a little bit cheesy to me.
What's cheesy?
And
What?
like her lines come out of nowhere and make everything very like melodramatic. Um, which is like a little bit like, I mean, it is her character. It is who she is. I don't have to. It's not like I don't think she fits well with the movie. It's just not the character that I like the most. But I'm trying to overthink that quote that you said. The second one, what was it? If you
Uh,
live long
you
enough.
live long enough, you see the same eyes in different people.
Okay, so what does that mean exactly? Like,
Well, she was talking to Finn because he wanted to run away, and so she's like looking at his eyes, and then Finn's like, "What is she doing?" And Han Solo's like, "That can't be good." And then she's like, "If you live long enough, you see the same eyes in different people." So
so you can.
she's looking at Finn and seeing that he wants to run away, and she knows that, and she's trying to tell everyone what's his intentions, because he hasn't revealed his intentions yet, that he wants to keep away from the First Order. Because
You
Finn,
just know how to read people more. It's basically what the quote means. Yeah.
yeah, pretty much.
Cool.
What's cheesy about
Okay.
it?
No, I mean it's not. It's not necessarily like. It's not necessarily the cheesiest thing, of course, but it is just like it just makes like a moment very dramatic. Probably a little bit more than it should. Maybe. What do
I
you think?
I guess she's a little bit more dramatic than other characters, but like that's what Star Wars is.
So that's why I said I don't think she
Prequels.
doesn't.
Prequels are way more dramatic than like real life.
Well, yeah, but the prequels are like are dramatic in a different way, in a less cheesy way, in my opinion. But I know
And
people.
he literally has a monologue on how much he hates sand.
I know, but for some for
If
some
that's not
reason,
dramatic, I don't know what is.
I don't know. For some reason, coming out of that character didn't seem as dramatic as, or no, it seemed dramatic, of course, because Anakin is a drama queen.
That line.
Anakin is a drama queen.
That line
Yes, yes.
was cheesy.
I don't know. Okay, but I guess when I was watching that movie, it just felt cheesy to me. It just felt a little bit pushy.
Well, I enjoyed it.
I mean, now that I'm overthinking the quotes, I'm like, okay, it makes sense. It's cool.
But maybe
But at the same time,
we have to hear it from like how she says it and stuff.
at the same time, you're a big poetry guy. Like, to me, that is a little
Big
bit like
poetry, but I'm into prose.
it's like a little bit unnecessary, but it's her character. So
Necessary.
let's just say that I don't disagree with her character because
As soon as she says the line, Rey's like, I don't want any part of this, and then she runs off into the forest and basically wants to just go back home and not deal with anything until like the First Order like comes, and then Kylo Ren kidnaps her. They destroy the palace. Yeah. So she basically has no choice but to go. Kylo was basically to follow her destiny. But yeah. So then Leia shows up and C-3PO, and then they head back to the Resistance headquarters.
okay, but how was C-3PO first introduced then?
C-3PO in this movie, Leia and C-3PO land after Rey gets captured, and basically they just meet up with Han Solo and the rest of everybody.
Cool.
And then C-3PO is like, oh, Han Solo, it's me, C-3PO. You may not have noticed me because I have a red arm. And then he turns to Leia and is like, Leia, look, it's Han Solo. Oh, wait, you already noticed? And she's like, yeah, get out of the way.
I like C-3PO's character, even though he's like probably the cheesiest one out of everyone. But
he's the cheesiest, but he's the best.
But he fits so perfectly well with everything, so.
Anyway, so they head back to the Resistance base. Oh wait, before that, any of that happens, like the First Order decides to use the Starkiller base and destroys the New Republic. Which, do you have any comments about that? Oh, which I think was kind of like dumb, because I mean, like, just the whole Starkiller base in general, like killing, like I don't think it was bad that they destroyed like a planet. Well, I think it's bad that they destroyed a planet, but like,
wow. So what are you trying to say?
What I'm trying to say is that it's bad that they
destroyed.
I should rephrase that, but like they destroyed a planet, which we've seen them destroy a planet before. Which the first time we saw them was in The New Hope, and I was like, whoa. They just destroyed a full planet of people. But like this time, by this point, we're kind of numb to them destroying a planet of people we don't care about. But if they destroyed a planet that we knew somebody on that planet that they destroyed, that would be a lot more impactful, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
When they destroyed those planets, it was like, okay, they destroyed planets that I have no idea of anybody that lives there. So
yeah,
if they had someone on one of those planets that we knew, we would have been like, oh my gosh, they got to go.
No, but what I think is that they wanted to show, it was a portrayal of power, of course, like a portrayal of like what.
But I think they should have had somebody important on one of those planets that we knew that died, and we're like,
yeah, wow. Because like I said earlier, these enemies, they literally have no purpose behind their actions. Like they're literally just like, okay,
they want to take over the universe like how the Empire did, but
what was the reason behind attacking that specific planet?
Uh, there were like 5 planets that they destroyed at once, but their reason was to destroy the Republic, so then they don't have anybody challenging them.
So these 5 planets were the planets where the Republic. Oh, actually, I think I remember that part now. Yeah.
One of the planets looked like Coruscant, but I don't think it was.
Don't you see like a scene where you see like the Jedi Temple and like it's about to get destroyed? No, right?
But that would have been more interesting if they did like Coruscant, because then you're like, oh, I know that planet. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if that was that planet actually, but I don't know. So we see that, and then
It just looked like a big city, right?
yeah, could have been anywhere. Anyway, so that happened.
No, it was totally Coruscant, bro.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But after that, they head back to.
General Hux was dumb though. Just if you
I
ask me.
don't like General Hux. I think that he's kind of just really, I don't know. He seems like weak and unintimidating, and that's not
Yeah.
like the general thing, you know?
Weak, unintimidating, like a puppeteer, and also like I don't know. It didn't make the movie better in any way. No offense to the actor Wendell Helm, or however you say his name, but the character really didn't.
Did you just attempt to say his name?
I did actually attempt it. I guess he's like
It's very brave.
Irish or something. But yeah, that was a brave move, huh?
Yeah.
Anyway, no, his name is Dom Hall. Dom Hall Gleason.
Let me
Dom
try
Hall
to pronounce. Now that you tried pronouncing it and butchered it, let me try butchering it. Dom Hana. That's wrong.
Dom Hall.
That does not sound Irish or.
It does sound Irish, and
Dom
I mean, no disrespect in mispronouncing your name.
We're sorry.
We're sorry. It's just spelled different. But
Mr. Gleason.
the character was not a good character in the movie.
I feel like Gleason.
And in the whole saga.
Anyway, so then we go to the Resistance base. They talk about the Starkiller base, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, they're charging up again, and they're going to target us now." And so they decide to attack the Starkiller base, and they devise a plan to infiltrate it. And so Poe, Chewbacca, and Han Solo go to Starkiller base, and they light speed in there and infiltrate it. And that's another complaint actually coming up, is that when they get onto Starkiller base, Han Solo's like, "What now?" He's like, "We're gonna let the Force help us." And he's like, "That's not what the Force is. That's not how the Force works. That's what he says." Anyway, and then Finn, sorry, not Poe. Finn reveals that he used to work in sanitation, which is my complaint, is that how does Poe know everything about like the Resistance when all he did was work in sanitation? He like knows how they fight, knows where everything is located that they need to know when he worked in sanitation. I don't know.
Not only that, but how did he end up in a completely different place in the universe?
Yeah.
Like
fighting something.
Yeah, when he used to work there, like
sanitation. Yeah.
To me, that is like probably all the employees or basically slaves that work at the Star Destroyer. They're probably there to stay for the rest of their lives. I don't understand how Finn ended up going to just a random planet just out of nowhere, like from sanitation. Let me take you to this place and fight. He went from sanitation to fighting randomly.
Yeah.
In a completely different place in the space. And also, how can they light speed into the Star Destroyer if it's such a technological and miraculously like,
I don't know. Han Solo describes it, but the only way to get onto it was through light speed.
Okay, because I was gonna say, otherwise I would have expected some kind of retaliation from the First Order, you know?
Yeah, it was explained briefly. Don't know what he said, but he said something. Anyway, so they infiltrated, and Rey's being interrogated by Kylo Ren, and then she kind of gets into his head. He gets kind of disturbed by that, so then he leaves. And then Rey's kind of just sitting there, and she tells a random stormtrooper to like let her out of her constraints. And that random, you remember that part, Stephan?
Yeah, where she was like actually using the Force,
Yeah,
uh, but she had never had any training for
yeah. Which
any
I
kind of.
like. You could make that claim, like, how does she know how to use the Force when she's never had any training? But like, you could
Yeah.
hear stories about Jedi because she knew about Jedi and Luke Skywalker and everything. So she's heard about them. You could like maybe hear stories like, oh, he has mind control. So maybe she heard that, and so she could, and then so she
Where was proof that she knew about Jedi?
earlier in the movie, um, Finn, I think it was Finn. He was like, this droid has a map to Luke Skywalker," and she's like, "Luke Skywalker? I know that guy." Anyway,
No.
dude, she knew.
Anyway, I don't think. Okay, I think it was appropriate to show her connection with the Force, and that it's something um, extraordinary. I do agree on that. I think they they overdid it by far. Like
Yeah,
her
I, I
connection to the
I agree
Force
with
from.
I agree with you that she's like caught on too quick, but also we grew up with the prequels where it took Jedi for like forever to become a master at it. But if you look at it from the originals, like Luke Skywalker connected with the Force super quick after literally very little training. Like in the first movie,
Same with Yoda though, with
no
like the
in the
big.
first in the first movie he destroyed the Death Star with an impossible shot. He was able to do that using the Force, and that was after knowing Obi-Wan Kenobi for like a couple scenes. So Luke Skywalker basically did the same thing with using the Force. So
I guess so. I guess so.
fight me.
But at the same time, I think Rey's uh, connection with the Force should have been displayed a little bit more subtly. Like they just literally like, okay, she's never even attempted any kind of. She's never even met a Jedi at all. Like she's never even seen one. She's never even like tried to use the Force at all, and now she can actually like
Use it.
use one. But one of the she can use one of the. I feel like it's one of the most like
Advance.
hidden skills of the Force, which is like mind command.
Yeah.
Like you don't start with that. I feel like you start with like maybe moving a little thing, and then maybe you move on to. But like mind command, in my opinion, should be one of like the. Okay,
Yeah.
you're kind of like.
I don't disagree with you that that was like really quick, but like Luke Skywalker does stuff really quick too.
I
So
think although I do like fight about it, and I think like it's kind of like unrealistic. At the same point, I feel like the the filmmakers probably thinking
realistic that
like
she's using the Force.
the filmmakers were probably thinking like I don't think this is that big of a deal, you know. But what did you say?
It's unrealistic that she's using the Force.
Okay, well, of course it's unrealistic, but it's unrealistic to Star Wars terms how fast she learned to use the Force and everything.
I gotcha, but
Which probably they didn't think it was gonna be that big of a deal. They were like, okay, she can use it.
yeah,
Get
I
over
don't
with
think
it.
it's a big deal. It doesn't ruin the movie for me. Anyway, and so they find Kylo Ren, not Kylo Ren, but
It doesn't ruin it for me now, but something will happen later on that I'm like, this okay, this is going over the board, but whatever.
oh
We'll
yeah,
talk about it later.
those movies. We're not talking about those movies. Anyway, so Ray finds Finn and Han and Chewie, and so they meet up, and let's see. I think Finn and Han, Chewie already like disabled something. What did they disable? The shields? I don't remember. The shields. I think they disabled the shields. Anyway, threw Phasma into a trash compactor. Classic Star Wars. And then so Finn, Rey, Han, and Chewie are escaping when they notice that uh, the Resistance pilots need help to get into the oscillator. Is that what they did? I don't remember. I think it's oscillator.
What?
So they decide to like blow it up, or at least blow a hole into it. Rey helps them out getting into the place. Han and Chewie set up the bombs. And then that's when Han sees Kylo Ren. And this is where it all goes down. Han finally does his arc instead of running away from his failures. This failure being failing to properly raise his son. He decides to go out there and face his son, and that's a big part of his character arc. He tries getting Kylo Ren to turn back into a good person, and then Kylo Ren's like, I feel the pull to the light, and I'm really torn apart about this. And he's like, can you help me? And you think that for a second Kylo Ren's maybe gonna turn to the good side because he's handing Han Solo his lightsaber, but then Kylo Ren turns his lightsaber, killing Han Solo, and Han Solo falls. And then Chewie fires his weapon.
It's an iconic scene. I actually do think
Yeah.
that was an iconic.
Yeah.
Even
when Han Solo was falling to his, like, after he died, like, it was like the most Han Solo fall that you could do, you know?
Yeah. Was it the best?
He was stabbed, he was like, he grabbed for his son's face. It was basically like showing that he forgave his son, which is like, I feel like tore at Kylo Ren even more, but.
Do you think that Kylo Ren lived a life that to the dark side?
A life that what?
He had a motivation, a strong enough motivation to become a Sith.
That Kylo Ren had motivation. I think that he was kind of tricked, and it was kind of just like thrown upon him. I don't know.
It just didn't. They never really explained that, did they?
Sort of. It's kind of explained in another movie, but we could go into that when we get to that movie, which is the next movie. The next movie we'll talk about.
It kind of. I'm just disappointed how Han Solo was fooled like that. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't think he was
fooled. For the love of his son, I get that, but at the same time, I don't understand how Han Solo was such a bad father. You know what I mean? Like, it's not.
I mean,
it's not. And how someone who was becoming a Jedi then becomes a Sith, and then becomes like the strongest one, like literally the.
Hey, we're getting into that later. Right now, we're focusing on this movie. So,
sounds good.
Anyway, so Chewbacca gets mad, shoots his crossbow at Kylo Ren, and we've seen how that crossbow like shoots and like blows people away. So that's a powerful crossbow that he just shot at him. Kylo Ren like acts like he was barely phased by it, but yeah. So the group runs away. Blow up a hole into the oscillator, allowing the pilots to get in.
So, is that crossbow more dangerous than what's it called, laser beam, or what are those called, like the pistols?
Yeah, it is, because literally, when a pistol will hit somebody and they'll just like fall down. But like in the movie, you'll see.
I mean, but they would fall down dead.
Yeah, but you see the crossbow hit people. And they literally blast across the room.
But would that have been a blaster? Would he be dead right now, or Kylo Ren would have died?
If it was a blaster,
yeah,
I feel like it would affect him a little bit less.
How could Kylo Ren survive a blaster, but everyone else dies of it?
Because I don't know. You know what? I don't know. It's Kylo Ren. They're trying to chalk him up to be a baddie. And anyway, so they're running away. Um, they get separated from Chewie. They blast a hole in the oscillator. The pilots get in there, start blowing stuff up. And then Rey, Finn are running through the forest where they meet up, where Kylo Ren cuts them off. And so they begin a little fight with them. Rey gets force pushed, and so Finn lights up the lightsaber, starts attacking Kylo Ren, and then eventually loses that fight to Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren's obviously like hurting. He keeps pounding his side because he's been shot with the crossbow. So he's a little bit I don't know, his skill, like even though he has better skills than these people, he's basically what's a good word?
Badly injured.
Well, yeah, he's badly injured, but he's
Disabled.
Yeah, that's I was gonna say disabled, but I was like, that's not a good word. Anyway, so yeah, he's disabled in this fight. I was trying to find another word than that, but
I think that word fits the scene.
yeah.
Well, I don't think it was good enough for him to literally. Okay, but continue.
So then comes a scene where Rey like reaches for the lightsaber because Finn drops it when he gets hit in the back, and it flies into her hand, and then this.
That's crazy. That's absolutely insane. Like, okay, no training, but she could pull her lightsaber to come to her like.
Oh my gosh! Did you watch the fifth movie? Starts off with Luke Skywalker. He's upside down in a cave. His lightsaber's stuck in the snow, and he reaches for it and gets it. But he's never had any training or seen anybody use the Force with telekinesis to that point. Nobody. He's never seen telekinesis before. Luke Skywalker.
Okay, I can see your point. Continue.
Don't complain about Rey doing that when Luke Skywalker does the same thing. Anyway, so Rey grabs it, and then the score comes on. It's like the binary sunset score. Like, I don't know, it's really iconic. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Like the two suns setting down.
Anyway, yeah. So it comes on, and I don't know. I get like chills every time that comes on. Very good. So yeah, and then Rey and Kylo are fighting, and obviously Rey is not trained with a lightsaber, but she knows how to fight, at least scrap. And then Kylo Ren, he's injured, so he's not at his top game at that point. So they're fighting, and Rey's kind of sort of losing, but not too bad. But then Kylo Ren's like, "Oh, I know the ways of the Force. I can teach you." And that reminds Rey, because she's on kind of like survival mode right there. And then she is reminded, "Oh yeah, I could use the Force to fight this fight." So she uses the Force, and then she like instantly gets like an upper hand on Kylo, and she beats him in their little duel, knocks him down, hits like scars his face, and then before she like finished the job, like the Earth splits them apart, and that kind of represents them being split on different paths. And yeah, so then she goes, helps Finn, and then Chewbacca picks him up. They get out of there. They head back to the Rebel base. Starkiller base explodes, and that's basically like the end of the conflict in the movie. They head back to the Resistance base, and then like Finn goes in to get medically treated, and then Rey and Chewbacca go to a different planet where Luke is, because they have the map now. And then that's where the movie ends. The cliffhanger, literally on a cliff, where Rey's like handing Luke Skywalker the lightsaber, and Luke Skywalker's looking at her like that.
Yeah. Like, why would you give me this to me?
Hey, we don't know that until the next movie. Right now, we're just like, oh, what's gonna happen?
Yeah. Luke has only one cool scene from his comeback, which was a little bit disappointing. I think even like even Mark was disappointed himself about
Yeah,
his his.
Mark did not like how what became of Luke Skywalker, which
Yeah,
I agree with him too. But
yeah.
that's for another
I
discussion.
mean, and I don't know actually a lot about comics, like I said at the beginning of the video, but I do know that Luke Skywalker was actually the one meant to balance the Force, like give balance to the Force, and he was actually in the comics. He's supposed to become like the strongest like being within the Force, like Jedi or Sith.
Mm-hmm.
So well, and then in this movie you see really cool parts of him using the Force, but we'll discuss them later because those belong to different movies. Um, that was a really good description of the movie and a little bit of our opinion about it.
Yeah.
And to furthermore our opinions, we're just gonna go over the categories that we set and then describe why we put that score to that category.
You know, for free,
And that background
I don't
is cool.
know if we could just stick to the 5 categories, Stefan, or if we should stick to describing the movie. I mean, it was nice, like refreshing the movie, but like, I feel like we could just stick to the 5 categories in the future. I don't know.
Yeah, um, I feel like okay, this is our first
Yeah,
time doing
it's
a
a
podcast.
test run.
It's our test run. You should definitely post it though. Anyway, I just really liked how we were going with the flow. Just so the viewers know, I mean Nick is a great person with movies, and you have great memories, so you knew everything that was going on. I actually
I
have like
rewatched the movie today.
oh yeah, he did watch the movie today, and like
Notes.
speaking for myself, I know I may have sounded a little bit. Um, should we call it ignorant? I don't know, but I haven't seen this movie in a long
I
time.
don't think so. Like,
But we decided to start our podcast
speaking
today
with
because
what you
otherwise,
remembered.
yeah,
And
I try to do my best to bring all the memories from the movie, but I haven't seen it in a long time, even before doing this podcast. So that is the reason why um, I didn't give as strong as an opinion about things as I could have.
yeah,
At the same time, the opinions that I gave so far were actually my opinions about the movie when I watched it, and I think it was a good movie for reintroducing characters, and it was a good movie um, for getting the feel of Star Wars back again. But it was literally a copy paste of what is it? A New Hope. What is the fourth one called?
it's a New Hope.
New Hope. Yeah, it's literally a copy paste of that movie. Literally the Star Destroyer um, and the Death Star, the exact same thing. Even like the names, and then the way they destroyed is like basically the exact same way. Everything falls. Everything falls within like the premise of the other movie as well. So to me, having a copy paste as a reintroducing method of Star Wars is a little bit weak. It's a little bit lazy. It
I
just feels
think
like
it was like obviously you were saying conservative earlier,
yeah.
and I think that was what they had to do with how the Star Wars fans were so divided about the originals and the prequels. So I feel like they
I
had,
think it was a good moment to make a statement
yeah.
of how Star Wars is going to be
I didn't mind
because
the movie.
Star Wars already changed in the past like drastically. Like Star Wars changed from the originals to the prequels, which is a completely different feeling and vibe. And whether the most of the public liked it or not, these movies were supposed to have a different vibe and different setting, especially because of the time that it had literally like it had passed so much time to for them to have this technology, the First Order, to regain this power.
Yeah,
Like it should have been
their
a little bit
power
of a
just seemed a little bit unbelievable. I don't know,
yeah.
but that didn't ruin the movie for me.
This one was not like I don't think this is the biggest movie where we disagree on because I don't have the worst opinions about this movie because it was so conservative that it was actually kind of hard to say,
That was a
you know,
bad.
like that they went wrong the wrong way because they didn't take a lot of risks. You know what I mean? Like they kept the risks really, really low in this movie,
Yeah.
and then they actually implemented those risks later on in the wrong way. But
And then they started
um,
seeing themselves on the next two movies, and it went terribly wrong.
yeah, I feel like if they had started well a little bit braver with more risks, they
Yeah,
could have they could have reset to okay, this is what's going wrong. Let's just
they needed a overall like they needed to know where they were going with the story because they kept like giving the directors like full creative control, which is great and all for, for each movie, but like overall story, it kind of like doesn't make sense.
yeah. It doesn't make sense as a trilogy. I feel like you could make a little bit more sense of the movies by themselves, even if you were just like, this is one movie and this is a movie, they're not related. But anyway, so our categories are the following. So we have movie score, acting, characters, cinematography, plot, and of course our overall score. I feel like you said maybe how long have we talked for?
I don't
I have no
know. I
idea.
feel like it's been
But it's been a good hour, maybe a little bit more.
yeah.
Uh, I think this is a good length for a podcast, but I feel like if we give a short description about the movie and then go ahead and
We
start
should
with
like
the
I shouldn't go into so much detail. I'll
yeah.
we'll like
I started feeling that whenever like at the very beginning you
yeah.
described the scenes
Yeah,
very
no,
vividly.
and
Yeah.
then I was like, "Oh, this is taking forever. I need to
Yeah.
I definitely shortened it up at the end."
Yeah.
But this
You
is
did a good job.
we'll uh we'll do better next time. But
We'll choose like specific scenes that we want to talk about.
yeah,
That okay, this scene had an impact, and this scene we're gonna disagree on, or this scene is something that we really like, or this scene is like a plot twist that is important to notice and mention.
yeah.
Talk about a movie with big plot twists. We definitely should discuss Parasite. Wow, what a movie! You did you see
I
it already?
I saw Parasite. Yeah,
Yeah. Anyway, right now I do want to stick with. I think we should stick with Star Wars. Then do like we should stick with like kind of like this kind of setting movies for now, like Star Wars and maybe Marvel and Wonder Woman.
yeah.
But okay, so go ahead and start with your scores.
Okay, so for the movie score, I really liked it. I thought like the race theme was really good. Like, listen to it. It's a bop. Then I think they really used like the binary sunset theme very well every time that they played it. Like when Gray got the lightsaber when she force grabbed it.
Mhm.
Um, and then yeah, I think they really used their score well, but I don't think it was that unique of the score. And I feel like besides Ray's theme to me wasn't like earth shattering. So I gave the movie score like a 7 out of 10. That was my thoughts, feelings. What about you?
My thoughts exactly. My score is actually 7 out of 10 as well. In the score, I think that honestly, it is very hard for any Star Wars movie to go wrong on their scores.
Yeah.
They
Honestly,
probably
actually, the last one I didn't like the score on the last one.
well, I mean, yeah, I said it's really hard to do, but I didn't say it didn't get
Possible.
accomplished. um, but in this movie, definitely follow the rules within the scores. Like I said, it's a very how do you call it? Very conservative movie. So therefore, I feel like they kept it also conservative on the score side, which was not a bad thing because it fulfilled the message and it had a little bit of a new sounds that I really liked, like you said, like a race theme. It was pretty cool. So I give it a 7. I think it's
You
very.
listen to Ray's theme, Stefan? I don't think you remember Ray's theme.
I don't remember perfectly. You want me to hum it for you?
What?
No, you don't want me to do that. But moving on to the next score because I don't want to be put myself in shame because I don't actually remember it. Do you want to play it? Do you have
No,
it?
I'm not gonna play it because of copyright. because they could scan our video, and
We're
then
never gonna be able to put freaking scores in this thing until we have to actually buy them, huh? Whatever the public wants. If we have to buy them for you guys, just
that's
let us
what
know in the
you
comments
need
below.
to enjoy. Our next category is acting. Acting. What did you think about the acting?
Okay, this is my opinion about the acting. I'm gonna go by the actors. Rey did an amazing job. Like I said, I think she belongs to Star Wars. I think that they need to keep giving her, they need to keep giving her roles within the storylines, and hopefully I see more of her. Even though the trilogy is I meant it in like within the stories, but nah, I'm not gonna say that to the public. But I think she did an awesome job acting in the movie, and she fits Star Wars perfectly well. Kylo Ren, Adam Driver honestly has had way better movies, and this one was probably one of his worst performances in my opinion. I think he actually performed a lot better in the last movie than he did in this one and the one coming after this. I feel like in this one
he did have a lot less helmet scenes in those movies.
Yeah.
This one he was behind the helmet a lot.
This one he was behind the helmet a lot. You just didn't get intimidated, like you said. You just didn't get. I know he was supposed to be a confused enemy. Basically, he was probably an anti-hero, right? He wasn't even like. I mean, he killed a lot of people, so maybe we can say that. But at the same time, I didn't feel any sense of big power from him, which I hoped, like, I hope that that was fulfilled by another character behind him. Like, okay, this guy's the puppeteer of a bigger, stronger character, which didn't happen, but his character gets redeemed later on. But in this movie, I just didn't feel like a very powerful battle from him, especially getting kicked his ass from Rey when Rey had like,
after he got shot by Chewbacca's crossbow.
Yeah, you do have to point that out a lot. But if you miss that scene, if you go to the
point out that Kylo Ren went down too easily, so I have to point out Chewbacca's crossbow.
Yeah, well, I think Adam Driver gets probably more used to the Star Wars acting later on, and he does a better job later on. I think in this one he was still like not at his best, in my opinion.
Okay.
Then Finn, which is portrayed by John Boyega, I think it was the opposite as Adam Driver. I think he started really well in this movie. Like, I was like having a great sense of this character, having a great. I really liked the character in this movie because he did a great job acting and portraying like the new feelings that you hadn't seen before of a stormtrooper having feelings and abandoning the First Order and rebelling to the First Order and being confused and then eventually joining the Resistance. So I really liked his acting in this movie. Still not surpassed by Daisy Ridley's. Then BB-8 was the best actor in the movie, hands down. Literally the best actor character. I don't know who portrayed BB-8, but
because he in the movie, I don't know. He does a little lighter thing.
The lighter thing, yeah. I don't know who portrayed BB-8, but that person should have gotten the Oscar, even if he was just a robot. And then we got Poe. I think he did a great job. He was my favorite actor in this movie. I think I really did get the sense of like urgency when he was acting, and I did get the sense of like, oh, this is important. They need to do this. They need to do that. They need to. They have tasks to do and quick. I did get that sense from him. Luke Skywalker, we see him like very briefly, like we see like at the end, and his acting was marvelous. What was the face he made, Nick? What can you please do the face he made for us at the end of the movie? I'm giving you the lightsaber. Oh. I don't know what Rey says. What does she say?
Say anything.
She didn't even say anything. She was just like here, and he was like who are you? Come again.
You?
Uh,
What do you want?
what do you? Are you delivering my pizza all the way here? Um, then Harrison Ford, I have never complained about his acting. Of course, like you cannot go wrong with him. He portrayed Han Solo as he should have. Um, Great acting. Probably, I don't know if I like Daisy Ridley's acting the best or Harrison Ford's. Carrie Fisher, do we see a lot of her in this movie?
Yeah. Well, a decent amount, yeah.
A decent amount, right? I think like she kept it well. She kept a good character role. I think Harrison Ford did a little bit better in this movie. Of course, he died, so we don't see any more of him. Maybe just brief scenes. Um, he dies in the movie. But rest in peace, Carrie Fisher. I would put her in the third spot. Then Captain Phasma. Well, I don't know. Not really big opinions about her. Like I feel like it was.
I don't have a picture of Phasma.
I feel like it was like a statement for feminism, wasn't it? Like a big Captain Stormtrooper is actually a female and is commanding like all these legions of stormtroopers. That's what I got from it. That's like what I got from what they probably wanted.
But I don't think like when Marvel did their like female like superheroes all line up and we can take down the bad guys, like that was obviously like a feminism like scene. But like I mean I didn't mind. But
I mean,
I feel
I
like
hadn't
Phasma
seen.
was just like, oh, I don't maybe it was a statement like that, but I don't think it was like a big like I mean, sure. I don't think they
I mean, had you seen before a stormtrooper that was female? None.
know.
Actually,
I
none.
tell.
It is the first one, and it is probably the only one that there was to see. Actually, well, I don't know if in later movies we see another one. I think maybe we do. I don't know, but it was the only female stormtrooper we've ever seen, and this stormtrooper was way higher in the ranks than people like Finn,
I thought
who
she
did.
I thought she was a cool character. I feel like she was wasted in other movies, but
Yeah, I actually got more intimidated by her in some parts than I did by Kylo. So
by by General Hux.
yeah, and then Gwendolyn is a great actress.
Yes, she's great.
Yeah, she's great, and then in Game of Thrones she also did a great job.
One of my favorite like characters in Game of Thrones.
I agree completely. And then General Hux by Dom Hall Gleason by Mr. Gleason, shall we say? I just didn't feel intimidated, bro. Like I just like it just feels like you were like
But that's how it's supposed to be. But like
yeah, that's exactly what they were trying to do.
his
But I don't know why.
his acting was very good. His character, I don't know.
He's character. I feel like I agree on that, and I feel like that's the same for Kylo Ren. I don't think. First of all, I don't think it was one of his best performances for Adam Driver, but at the same time, I don't think the role that they gave him was a very suiting for the character that he's supposed to portray. Um, yeah, so for acting, I gave it a 6.2. I think that a lot of these characters didn't fulfill my expectations.
It's not what
To
it sounded like. It sounded like you just didn't like Adam Driver.
well, I didn't really. Okay, I didn't like General Hux.
That's
At least
that should
the
be under
character.
character though. Unless you
Yeah,
didn't like how he portrayed his character.
I didn't like Adam Driver, which was basically the main. Him and Daisy Ridley were the main focus points of the movie. So that's a big part to lose, you know. I didn't like Captain Phasma was a little bit like it's not that I didn't like her. It's just that it just
It's her character then.
yeah, the character was a little bit
Character and actor, totally different. Character and acting, totally different.
well, from acting. Adam Driver did not do his best job, and
You didn't like the character either for Kylo Ren.
I didn't like the character either.
All right. What did you get? You kind of lumped in like characters into it too. So
Yeah, I think I did.
what did you give character? Like, yeah,
I did. I gave them a 7.
7 out of 10.
Yeah, 7
All
out
right.
of 10.
All right. My turn. My turn. All right. So I'm gonna just do them both at the same time, like you did. So character and acting, starting with Ray. I thought her acting was very very good, very very quality. I think you basically said most of what I would say, so I'm gonna rush through some of this. Um, yeah, she was a she was basically a new actress that we've never seen before. So, but she like pretty much stole the show with her acting performance. Very good. Um, then we got Finn. Him and Ray were probably my favorites out of this whole movie. Um, I liked like his acting, very good. Characters, as a character, I liked his character arc, along with Ray's character arc. How she was okay with being a nobody as long as she was waiting for her family. So she was basically waiting for her destiny. And then she had to learn that she had to take on her own destiny. She had to be active in her life. And I thought that was a very good character arc. And then Finn's character arc with deciding that he doesn't want to be part of the resistance. He doesn't want to kill people for power. And then deciding that
No, you mean of the First Order. He doesn't want to be part of the First Order.
did I say resistance?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. First Order. You know what I meant. Um, so yeah, he didn't want to be part of the First Order, and then so he decided to flee, and he didn't want to join the Resistance because he knew what the First Order was capable of with destroying multiple planets in a single instant. So he wanted to flee, and then he found out that he needed to fight for the people that he cared about, and so that ended up getting him to join the resistance. And I thought that was a very good character arc. Um, there's like one scene where uh, Ray and Finn are hanging out, and Finn Ray's like, "Oh, you're with the resistance," and then Finn like was trying to be very intuitive and like trying to get somebody on his side. So he's like, "Yeah, I'm with the resistance. Yeah, I'm with the resistance." And you could see like Daisy Ridley like break character for a second, where she's like kind of like she's trying to hold in her laughter because he was being kind of funny in that moment. So yeah, that was, I don't know, I thought it was a cute moment. But then we got Oscar Isaac. Um, very good acting. Although with Oscar Isaac's character, you really like his character, but I don't know. I'm not really sold with his character. All I really see with him is like he gets very like excited, and I don't know. I feel like he's got excitement and maybe charisma, and that's all his character is. Um, on maybe some sarcasm, and the rest of it seems kind of hollow. I don't know. That's how I got. I didn't feel it that much in this movie, but the next two movies I definitely felt.
I felt more passion out of him than other characters.
I mean, like
Uh,
in this movie he could like drive out. Like he did very good with his like showing a lot of passion in it in his role. But if you had to describe him, how would you describe his character?
I mean, I guess in this movie is
Who
the
is
one where they don't give him a lot of screen time. I think this movie is where
and like I feel like he could have been a better character. I also don't like the scene where the start like it was when Maz Kanata's castle is getting destroyed and the ships are like fighting, and Poe comes in and like takes out like 5 ships in like an instant, and Finn is like, "Oh, that's the best pilot I've ever seen," and I'm like, I don't know, it just seemed kind of unbelievable how well of a pilot he was. I don't know.
I mean,
Felt kind of
it's Star Wars, bro.
yeah, but like
And this is the best
that's
pilot
my opinion on his character. I don't know.
this is the best pilot that the Resistance has, bro.
Yeah, but Luke Skywalker and
Yeah.
Anakin Skywalker were like the best pilots of their time, but like were they like I don't know. We watched the scene. It's kind of ridiculous. I didn't like that. I don't know. His character wasn't the best for me, but moving on.
Well, the only thing that I think about him is that they didn't give him a lot of screen time. So like,
Yeah,
what could he do with what he?
This is true, Stephan. This is true.
The character deserved more because I think he had so much potential.
Yeah, he did have potential. I liked him in this movie enough where I was excited to see more of him, but I didn't get any more of him, and I didn't like what I saw. But in this movie, he did fine. The acting was really good. He had no problem acting. Anyway, then we move on to Kylo Ren. I think that Adam Driver did a really good job, personally, as opposed to Stefan. I don't know. He was just the character was like he was like kind of bratty, and he wanted to be like his grandfather. He was kind of like you kind of just like think of like an emo kid, just like I want to be
literally exactly. But an emo kid that is literally like leading all these like forces, like.
I didn't say that was the best thing that happened in the next movie, but
no, but he's leading them in this one too, kind of.
Yeah, but
Snoke is literally like nothing.
The fact that he has these force powers, he's a lot more powerful than these stormtroopers.
Yeah, but he's literally the leader of. He's a punk kid that's leading. Imagine a punk kid being president of America.
Let's not talk about the presidents of America.
But it's literally like how I feel him.
You feel him? You felt him?
How I felt him, yeah.
Okay. But I don't know. I really enjoyed his character arc where he was being pulled back into the light, and when he finally committed to the dark side. I mean, he killed his father, which shows how bad he's really been corrupted. And I feel like that could have set up something really cool for the sequel on him.
How bad? It's more like how bad he wants to be bad.
Pretty much. Well, how bad he's been corrupted. So someone's corrupted him to want to be bad. So it could have set up a really cool story like arc for him in the future ones where he falls back into the light, but they didn't. I feel like they kind of messed up his character arc in the next ones, but that's for another discussion. But for this one, I think they set up something really nice with his character. I enjoyed it. Then who else did you talk about? You talked about Luke Skywalker. He was in it for one scene looking smug, didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, he looked lost.
Good acting, I guess. But
no, good acting. Good
acting. Character. Who knows what his character was at that moment? So good character.
Not even himself like the character.
At that point, it was good. Then you got the legendary Carrie Fisher. She did a great job in her role. I felt like between the two roles, at least the character-wise, I feel like it kind of. I don't know. I feel like it wasn't this. It didn't feel like the same character to me.
I agree with you on that. I had never like really thought on how to put it up, but I think it's literally what you said. It's like I feel like what I felt from her is like she was not the same character that we saw before.
The acting was great, but like I just didn't feel like it was the same character because Princess Leia was very like go get him. I'm gonna do this myself. And then in the new one, she's like, oh, I'm just going to take a chill over here on this planet while you guys go take on the First Order.
I feel like the dialogues.
Yeah, that too.
They gave her were not matching with the character she's supposed to portray.
So, yeah, I felt like her acting was great, but the character for her changed a lot. Yeah. But that could just be like she's older now. So, like, maybe, life changes you, but.
Yeah, they truly made her portray grandma, but She did a great job at it.
She did change a lot. And then you got Han Solo. He's basically the same guy, you know,
Yeah,
same guy. He has a great
yeah,
character arc where he kind of is he kind of changes where he goes from being that smuggler that doesn't really care about anything, and then he decides to start caring about his son and try fixing his mistakes in raising him. And
well, too
unfortunately,
late, buddy. You
yeah, it was
dumbass.
too late. But there you go, Han Solo.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk more about like his relationship to Kylo Ren in the later movies. Like,
Yeah,
I just cannot seem to understand, but we'll talk about it later.
for sure, for sure.
I just cannot seem to understand how Kylo was so bad mistreated that he became what he like. But we can explain it later.
Yeah. Who else did you talk about?
And then General Hux, Don Hal Gleason.
I think he did a good job at portraying General Hux, but I didn't really like General Hux's character. He just didn't seem intimidating to me as being a top general. I mean, it made for some nice like comedic moments, but like you could have done the same thing with someone that was actually intimidating. I don't know. And then oh yeah, Andy Serkis, the guy who played Snoke, he was I don't know, he did a good job. I mean, he always does. I love his facial expressions. You didn't really see much of him, but top
What
tier.
about Gwendolyn,
Gwen,
Captain Phasma?
Captain Phasma. Well, yeah, I thought that she did a really good job at portraying the character. Um, I was hoping to see more of her character, and
Yeah,
uh, she didn't really do much the character wise in this movie, but yeah, it set up her character, which I think was the point of her character in this movie. So good job there.
but point taken to what you mentioned earlier. I'm gonna move my scores to give 7 to acting and 6.2 to characters.
Oh, what did
So
you?
I think the acting was really good. Well, not really good, but it was good for what they were given to do. So that's why I put acting as 7, and
Mm-hmm.
then characters I'll give it a 6.2 because I don't think they really thought well a lot about many characters that were in the movie.
Mm-hmm. Well, so my score totals it out as for acting, I gave it a 9 out of 10, and then the characters I gave it at a 7 out of 10.
Gotcha. And then
There were some pretty like the strong characters that I really enjoyed were really great, but there were some weak characters in there as well, but pretty solid.
yeah, I just couldn't take Kylo Ren as a good character. So that is literally one of the most important characters in the movie. So it really makes it fall through for me. Um, what about the cinematography?
Ooh, cinematography. They had some pretty beautiful scenes. Like this isn't one, but this scene
Yeah,
that was just beautiful. Just seeing that.
it's dope. Yeah, yeah. What about
It was shot too with like Ray like driving in the. It wasn't like the horizon, but like it was back there. She like drove across that. That was pretty cool. Um,
that scene right there makes it seem like an ancient like full of history
yeah.
um kind of ruin. Like if you go watch the pyramids of
Mm,
Egypt, you feel like ancient and history, and you feel like these ruins have like so much to tell.
yeah.
From watching that, you feel the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So I definitely agree on that. I think the cinematography was really good.
Yeah. I
Um,
think the best stuff was on Jakku, this desert planet, and then when they went to um Maz's um planet. I thought that planet was really nice and beautiful. I think they chose like very beautiful locations for all their places too. And that forest scene, when they fought, that was like a really good location as well, and it was shot really beautifully too. I don't know. I really liked the cinematography in this movie. I gave it a 9 out of 10.
I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Neat.
I think it was good. I like beautiful scenes, beautiful parts. I think it even gets better later on in the next movies, in some of the scenes, cinematography speaking. Um, I just think some of the monsters were like, I don't know, they were just not the best they could have been.
Oh, the monsters.
Yeah, which I take part as, I guess, character kind of, but also cinematography.
Like, yeah,
And um,
I guess that's more like graphics, or I get we could merge acting and characters into one maybe, and then add another category where we do special effects.
I do agree on the special effects. Yeah, that's a good idea. But I do think that it's good to keep it separate, the characters and the acting, because like it happened in this movie, there's so many actors that did well on their portrayals,
Yeah,
but their characters were not the best. And I think it happens the other way around too, where like,
we'll just add a
an
sixth category then.
yeah, but there's also times where like characters are like amazingly described, but then the acting is not that very well for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'll think of instances. I think it happens in you know, the for example, Batman versus Superman.
Uh, yeah.
But anyway, so cinematography, I gave it an 8,
Okay.
and then you give it a 9.
Mm-hmm.
Then about the plot, it was literally a copy paste of A New Hope, and that to me was unoriginal, and I appreciate more originality. Like I appreciate more if they had brought a new side of Star Wars. Like I don't know if you guys have seen the videos for the Old Republic, but those look very different from what we're used to watching, and those actually make my interest in Star Wars grow. While this movie seems very it seems very conservative, which was a good thing for reintroducing the characters. But there's not a plot where I feel very interested in learning more about. You know, like the only thing I was like interested was like, who's Snoke, and
Interested on
what
what
is.
was gonna happen next, but like I think what you wanted was better like lightsaber fights and stuff.
Not only that, but I wanted more like a deeper Jedi and deeper like
Yeah, I think
Sith story. You know what
I
I mean? Like
yeah
I don't think that's really what Star Wars originally is about, because in the originals that's not
yeah
what we really see being portrayed. Um, but I grew up with the prequel, so I really like how they started getting a little bit deeper about
yeah. It would
what.
have been cool to like see Luke like training a new generation of Jedi.
Yeah, yeah, and
It would have
this
been even
plot.
cool to like show like Kylo Ren kind of destroying that school like he did in the
Yeah, but
story
this
one.
plot also felt all over the place. Like it didn't feel like they really had an idea of. It was a copy paste, and that's the only reason why it couldn't fail more.
What'd you give it?
5 for the
5.
plot.
I gave it a 6 for the same reason. The copy and paste. It wasn't original, but like it served its purpose.
Yeah, yeah. So my overall score came to be 6.5 for
My
this movie.
okay, my overall score. So I gave the score 7 out of 10, acting 8 out of 10, characters 7 out of 10, cinematography 9 out of 10, and plot 6 out of 10 for a score of 7.4.
So actually, I thought we were gonna disagree more on this movie, but we're not that far off from our opinions. So I mean, that's why I like these videos, because we find out that we probably have more similarities than we think we did. You know?
Yeah. But you were saying that you didn't like this movie at all.
Yeah. Well, now that we went through
I thought you were
everything,
gonna
and
roast this movie more than you did.
I thought I was going to too. I just didn't like mainly Kylo Ren's character, which is a big part of the movie, and I didn't like that it was a copy and paste. You know, I
I
thought it
didn't
was.
mind Kylo Ren's character. I mean, there was original stuff like Kylo Ren did not like the character for Kylo Ren did not exist in the originals. Like there was no Kylo Ren esque character. Maybe Vader, but like Kylo Ren was just trying to copy him. But it's a little bit different.
It just felt like like I don't know. I don't know. It just felt like a millennial. Kylo Ren was literally a millennial.
I mean, millennials probably did work on this movie.
Yeah. Um. But I actually thought I was gonna roast this movie more than I did. But going through everything and like actually digging through details about the movie, I found out that there's more good things than I
I think
thought.
it'll be like if you when we do the next one, if you watch the movie beforehand as well, the things you don't like will be fresher in your mind.
Yeah, for
If
sure.
the movie that you like more, the things that you like will be fresher in your mind.
Yeah, I agree on that. I really was against this movie for the sole purpose of the copy and paste and how they didn't try to do something original and new, because they literally, we're not here to watch the original movies again. We're here to watch Star Wars continue and grow. Um, and then they went on a crazy level in the next movies, and they literally went bananas about it, and not in the right way, like not even like in the right way, but um, I mean they just didn't want to go wrong with it at all. They just didn't want to mess it up, so that's why they kept it super conservative. Um, and I was a little bit against that. But now that I remember me watching the movie, I didn't dislike it that much
Yeah, it's hard
until
to
after.
dislike a movie when you already know that the movie, like you like the fourth one, so like you're probably gonna like this one as well.
Yeah, exactly. So you like the movie because you like the fourth one, but then you think, huh, would I rather watch the fourth one or would I rather watch The Force Awakens?
Yeah.
Anyway, so 7.4 for you. Was
What did
it
you say yours was?
6.5?
So a whole, basically a whole point more I gave.
A whole point lower. If we did it the overall from the both of us, that'd be 13. You said 0.4, 13.9 divided by 2. That is like 7. 7 overall.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's a good
That's a good.
uh, conservative. It's a good conservative number.
Yeah.
7. Yeah.
I mean, it's probably what it was. A good 7
Yeah.
out of 10.
Yeah. I think that's a perfect number to give this movie. So we rated it, both of us together, 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10, folks. You heard it here first.
You heard it here first, Sador.
Movie that came
Nameless
out like
nameless
5 years
podcast.
ago.
Nah, yeah, but it was a good test run. Definitely want to see this posted though, Nick. And what's I gonna say? What are we gonna name our nameless podcast?
Right now, Nameless Podcast.
Nameless podcast
The
earns for you,
Podcast
folks.
Awakens.
The podcast awakens,
Yeah,
or
this is fun. The
the
Podcast
last
Awakens.
the last podcast.
Stefan and Nick, The Podcast Awakens.
No, but leave in the comments below what your thoughts about the name should be, and maybe we could do a surprise later on for the best.
Your video is freaking out, Stefan.
Is it?
Yeah.
You put too many images in the Zoom.
I'll go back to my sunset. Yeah, we'll have a giveaway maybe for the best name for
Absolutely.
our podcast. Yeah,
Should
and
we have like a send off? Like, what would it be? We need to think about these things, huh?
the force will be with you. Um,
May the force be with you. Now, something about, because we're not gonna talk about Star Wars all the time, you know.
we'll have to we'll get traditions as we go. You know.
We'll get traditions as we go. I like that.
So next week. So do you want to do this every week?
I'm okay with doing this every week. Yeah.
You want to do Wonder Woman next week, or do you want to do Star Wars? Like we could always do another Star Wars one, but we could. Wonder Woman just came out, basically.
Yeah, we're gonna. I think we need to do the freshest thing in the pot. So we do Wonder Woman.
Let's do a fresh one.
Yeah, we can do the Tenant. I haven't seen that.
I haven't seen that either.
But
was good.
Yeah, I actually like the preview, so we should definitely try doing that one too.
We could maybe like watch it at the same time, and then we could add some comments from that.
Have like a little live comment
stream,
live commentary.
Let's do a shout out to our friends.
Okay.
So we have a friend. She's really good at singing. Check her out. Her name is Daniela Torres. You probably won't find her, but we could post a link to one of her videos below.
We definitely will give a shout out to Daniela. She's a great person, kind-hearted person, and her voice is just like literally like impossible high. Like I could never like. I have not heard any person sing like that before.
Yeah, she's a really good singer. Check her out. Stephan,
you
made a song with her, right?
We did. It was kind of like a failed song.
I liked it. That's what I'm gonna link to this.
Mao Gonzalez was also in it. Yeah, he was actually the brains behind it. He mixed everything together and he did the beats for it too. But Danielle's great voice obviously is what stands out as well.
Yeah.
And I think I played the guitar.
Well, yeah.
It was a fun time. Crazy times in college. But yeah, check her out. She's really wanting to keep her career going in the music industry.
The one person that watched this video, check her out. Tell your friends. Whoever made this far in the video.
Watches have tons and tons of watches in a minute.
No.
It'll take a minute.
No way.
It'll take a minute. And by a minute I mean like maybe a year, but we'll get that.
We need to post a video every week. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna post I don't know what day we'll post. Maybe every
look. Well, Sundays are for rest, and Sundays is when people watch stuff.
So we'll post it every Sunday.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Are you gonna post this coming Sunday, or are you gonna post this like right now?
Maybe
like tomorrow.
Next Sunday, and then we work on No, I'll post it Friday.
Okay, Friday, and then the next one is Sunday.
And then we work on it every Sunday.
Okay.
That sounds good.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have to work on it on a Sunday, but post on Sundays.
Yeah. Well,
cool.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was our review of Star Wars, The Force Awakens.
7 out of 10, guys. 7 out of 10.
7 out of 10. You heard it here first.
You heard it here first. Boom. Reviewed.
Boom.
Have you seen that guy who reviews pizzas at Barstool Sports? He's pretty dope, actually. Yeah, I want to be like him in this review. So 7 out of 10. I'm a hard reviewer. It would be really hard for me to rate a movie high. I'm an honest
reviewer in which I'll be harder on movies like Tron, which suck.
Oh, okay. We're gonna have a discussion about that later because Tron is definitely higher than this 7 out of 10. It is higher. It is higher.
Can you believe
it? And I'll describe my reasonings for it later on.
You better have some pretty good reasonings because that movie.
Oh, I do. Not only the score, I'm gonna give it like probably the highest score I've ever given a movie. It's gonna be like a 9.5 or something crazy like that. Like that score is just
The score is really good. That's the only thing good about
the
that movie.
the plot is so good too. Like the plot is an 8. But I don't want to give all the numbers yet.
Yeah,
Stay tuned if you want to see all the numbers in Tron from me, because I really do think that movie is
eventually.
We're gonna do that eventually, of course. Yeah.
But next we're
stay
gonna
tuned for Wonder Woman.
1984, right?
1981.
I thought it was 84.
Stay tuned and we will figure out what number it is.
We'll review some Wonder Woman movie that came out.
Cool. All right. Well, we don't have a send off yet, but
day, and
I'm gonna say au revoir, and then I'll give it to Nick.
I'm gonna say aloha because that means goodbye. Also, hello.
Cool. Take care, guys.